Premier League is back. Back. Let me just say this. I hate Peacock. I hate what companies are doing right now. I hate how everybody has to have their own streaming service. Like, it just makes it so hard to consume all these games, and it's annoying. I remember when all the EPL games or all the marquee games were just on NBC Sports or their main NBC channel, and now you gotta get Peacock. You gotta have. It's just annoying. I'm going on a little rant. I'm probably gonna end up getting Peacock, but because I want to see all the games, and it's annoying not being able to see them. But I had to get that off my chest just because, like, every I mean, I don't blame them. It's a good market strategy. Like, I know they're gonna make money. Like, I know there's people out there like me that love the EPL and want to see it. And if you put it on a service and that's the only way you could watch a game, more likely than not, those people are gonna pay for the service because they really want to see the game. So it's smart. It's smart for them. I can't deny it. It's smart, but it's kind of cruel, and I don't like it. I hate that it's like that. But yeah, week one came and went. Not everyone played. Manchester United, Manchester City, Aston Villa, and Burnley didn't play. And this is because Man United and Man City went the furthest in the restart after the coronavirus halt ended. Manchester United went to the finals, they went to the semifinals of Europa. Man City went to the semifinals, I believe, too. So they get an extra week to prepare and rest up and get ready for this season. And Aston Villa and Burnley were their week one opponents, so they get a rest too. Like I said, I lagged it to make an episode before this weekend, so I didn't get to say my predictions on camera. But I did tweet them out. So one more time, if I figure out how to do this, I'm going to have a picture here or here with my tweet saying my predictions for top 10 of the EPL table. And then I have my 3 teams that I think are going to be relegated. Like I said, tweet's going to be here. If you're just listening to this on Apple Podcast or Google Podcast or Soundcloud or wherever you're listening to this, I'll put my link on the description if you want to click on it and see my tweet of my predictions for the season, so you know that I'm telling the truth. And I did tweet these out before the season started, so it was not after any of the games. These are preseason picks. I might have some mid-season picks just to see how the teams are going, and I'll predict how they go. But quickly, I'll just run through my predictions, 1 through 10, my relegated teams. And then after that, we'll talk about some of the week 1 games. And then I'll see if I feel the same way after the first week of football about my picks and some games that stood out to me, because there was quite a few good games that I want to talk about. But yeah, let's get started right away. The hard to handle EPL predictions by Ismael San Juan, but you guys can call me Ish. You guys know that. Top 4, which are the most interesting. I think I have Liverpool as the champions. I think they'll repeat. Very deep team. Mostly because of Klopp. This pick is mostly because Klopp is a great coach. He's amazing. He might be one of the best ones in the world right now. Top 2, top 3, if not the best. Number 2, Man City. It's Man City. They're a good team. They're deep. They're maybe the deepest team in the league. And 3, I have Chelsea. They spent like 300 million, I think, on players this year, on this offseason. They're out of the transfer ban. Lampard is a good coach. Pulisic hopefully comes back and helps him out from his injury. And let me just say, I think it's going to be a 3-horse race for the championship. Last year it was Liverpool and Man City, and then everybody else. I think this year is going to be Liverpool, Man City, Chelsea, and then everybody else. Chelsea should take that jump from last year to this year. They added a lot of quality players. We'll see. Kepa is a horrible goalkeeper. What am I saying? Kepa is a horrible goalkeeper. I don't know why they spent so much money on him. He's terrible in my opinion. doesn't know how to judge a cross or balls from distance. He's just bad. But anyways, other than that, Chelsea has a really good team on paper, and they should be top 3 in my opinion. Or at least these were my thoughts preseason thoughts. 4, Arsenal should get the last Champions League spot. I don't think they'll challenge for the title. They're not there yet. But Arteta is a good coach. He has them going in the right direction. And they look real good in week 1. So, I know people replied to my tweet on Twitter saying that I'm crazy having Arsenal in 4th because they finished, I think, 8th last year. But they ended strong last year. They won the FA Cup. I think they're going to have some good soccer coming their way, and we'll see. 5, I have United. United at 5. I don't think their team is mature enough. I don't think Pogba being like a leader is the right, like he's fit to be like a leader or a voice in the locker room. They're still very young. Rashford and all these players, no one has really like taken the reins of the team and like really said, this is my team. This is my team, and I'm gonna take them to like the promised land or stuff like that. It just looks like a bunch of really good young players that are still trying to find like their niche and trying to find their footing in the world of soccer. No one has really taken that next step and said, all right, I'm a world-class player. This is my team. When you think of this team, you're going to think of myself. So, but they have a lot of talent. So that in itself should get them close to top 4, fighting for top 4, 4th or 5th is where I see United. But on my rankings, I put them 5th. 6, I have Wolves. They added some good players, more Portuguese players coming to the Wolves. It looks like they're going to be able to keep Raul Jimenez and Adama Traoré. So that should help. They don't have European soccer this year, so the squad depth won't hurt them as much as it did last year. So I have them, finishing 6th, getting a Europa League spot, being a really good team, competitive team that could, beat any of the teams ahead of them. But, just over the season, I don't think they'll have the consistency to get a Champions League spot. Definitely see them getting a Europa League spot, but I feel like during the season they'll definitely fluctuate between 7 through 3 or 4. Just they're gonna be good. I feel I might be biased because that's my team, but I like the signings that they did. They kept most of their players. They have a really good coach. They've been a solid team the last 2 seasons. They're just gonna keep building on that. I think Wolves had a good thing going. I haven't finished him 6th, one spot ahead of last year, so it should be a really good season for the Wolves. 7, Spurs. Mourinho looks like he's losing his magic. I don't trust in that team. I feel like they do have like a small team mentality. Like no matter how good they get, they have like a mental block or something where they just can't get over the hump. And and then just to round out the top 10. I have Leicester City, having a drop off from, I think they ended 5th. They're going to end up in 8th. They really fell off the second half of the season. They had like a top 3 spot most of the year, and they just choked it away. I think that regress is going to continue this year, but they'll still manage top 8. Everton, I think they finished like 12th or 13th last year. They'll finish 9th. They got James. They look pretty good against the Spurs this for week 1, so I think Everton has a chance to be one of those teams that moves up in my rankings. Sheffield United, I have them at 10th. Wolves took care of them week 1. They were like a Cinderella team last year, kind of. People thought they were going to get relegated, and they played pretty good. They could be a wild card. I don't know if they potentially could go that much higher up, but they look a little shaky. They might not finish 10th. They might finish lower, but those are my top 10 teams in the EPL. I don't think I have too many crazy predictions other than maybe Arsenal at 4th and Spurs all the way at 7th and Leicester coming to 8th. But let me know, what do you guys think in the comments? Do you guys think I'm crazy? Or what are you guys' top 10 predictions for the EPL? You guys could do after week 1. These were my preseason picks. If I were to pick again, I might switch something up. I might. Well, we haven't seen United and we haven't seen City, but I might move Chelsea down a little bit. They did win, and the score looks like they won convincingly, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. And they don't have all their players, so I probably wouldn't change anything after week one. I think I like my picks. As far as the games went for week one, just to quick little recap. Arsenal beat Fulham 3-0. Liverpool beat Leeds United 4-3. Crystal Palace beat Southampton 1-0. West Ham lost 0-2 to Newcastle. West Brom lost 0-3 to Leicester. Tottenham lost 1-0 to Everton. Sheffield United lost 2-0 to Wolves. And Chelsea beat Brighton 3-1. Some games that I wanted to talk about quickly. Arsenal looked really good against Fulham. I forgot to mention my teams I think are going to get relegated. I have Crystal Palace, Fulham, Aston Villa getting relegated. And Fulham got stomped 3-0 by Arsenal. They look like a weak team. I do think they're going to get relegated. I don't think I could judge Arsenal just off that game just because Fulham is not a strong opponent. So we'll see how Arsenal, I think they have some tough games coming up against Liverpool, I believe, in the next 2 weeks. So we'll see how they do. And that was just wanted to point that out. Arsenal took care of Fulham. They looked pretty good, but can't really judge them. Brighton versus Chelsea, they played yesterday. They were one of the Monday games. Chelsea, they beat them 3-1, but Brighton looked like the better team throughout the game. They just couldn't put their chances away. Chelsea spent a lot of money on on offense, but their defense looks a little shaky. Like I don't know if they're going to be able to hold up the rest of the season. I think Chelsea definitely needs Pulisic. They look a little stale on top. It could be just because they're not acclimated to each other yet. But it does feel like they need Pulisic, and it's crazy. It's nice. I live in the U.S., so this might be. I saw a comment that said this might be the first time that a strong soccer team says that they need an American on their team to play good. I found that funny, but it's true. I think Chelsea is a different team when Pulisic is out there. He's dynamic with the ball on his feet, and he brings a lot of pace to the team, and he's able to get the team going forward. And he could be not just his first defender, but he could take on 2 or 3 defenders and get a play started. So that was the first game I wanted to take a look at. Chelsea versus Brighton. That's one of the signs of a good team. Even when you don't play your best soccer, you manage to find wins. That's what Chelsea did. So if they could take something away from that, is that they didn't play their best soccer and they still got a 3-1 victory. Second game, Wolves versus Sheffield. My Wolves, they scored 2 quick goals. Raul Jimenez scored a banger in the 2nd or 3rd minute. Just filthy goal, filthy build-up. Podence is really shifty. He shifted his body, got a defender thinking he's going one way, let the ball run, took the ball up the flank. Decent cross across. Raul Jimenez first time put it like top left corner, decently far away from the keeper. If the Wolves are able to keep Jimenez, if the Wolves are able to keep Traoré, they should be a dangerous team this season. Espiritu Santos, Nuno, he's a great head coach. They have a good thing building at Wolverhampton. I think they're one of those teams that a lot of people like to root for. They play good soccer. They're a fun team to watch. They're like a team that I feel like a lot of neutrals follow that team. Shout out to Raul Jimenez, Mexican. It looks like he's gonna have another great season. He's in the prime of his career. He's 29 years old. Physical peak. I think this team suits him really, really good. I would like him to see him go to a bigger club. It would be great for, to pave opportunities for other Mexicans, especially if he does good in a big team, just to show that Mexicans could do good in big clubs. But if he stays at Wolves, he could become a Wolves club legend. He's already on his way to becoming a legend. And he could become one of the best strikers in the EPL. He's already in the conversation. If he stays there, if he stays with the Wolves, I see him scoring 20 plus goals this season, and just being a focal point, being the star for Wolves, and potentially competing for top four. Definitely see them finishing top six. Sheffield, talked about them a little bit. They had a couple chances. They hit the post on one of them. I know Size took one of their headers out the line towards the end. But other than that, they didn't really create too many chances. We'll see how Sheffield does this year. Like I said, Cinderella story last year. Finished top 8, I think. Or, yeah, like 9. And when people had them like possibly getting relegated. I think it was good for them to miss out on Europa. They need to build on last season. Just with the current squad they have, just focus on the Premier League. I think they should be able to have a decent season. Don't expect much from them. Just middle of the pack. Survive, stay afloat, stay in the EPL. Should be a good team. Very excited for the Wolves though. What's his name? The two new Portuguese players they have. Vitinha, he played probably like the last 5 minutes of the game. Couldn't really tell too much about him from just those small sample size. He came from Porto and on a loan with the option to buy. I'm pretty sure if he plays good, the Wolves are going to exercise that option to buy him. He's 20 years old, very young player. Excited to see what he could do. And then Fabio Silva, I think they broke the club record for transfer fee for him. He's 18 years old. He comes from Porto too. He didn't see the field, mostly because the game was pretty secure, and there was no need for him this week. Excited to see him. Like my good friend Matt. When the transfer went down, he hit me up. He told me that he's read some stuff about him. That even Football Manager has him rated very highly. That he becomes a star. So, hopefully all those things are true. I haven't really seen too much of his game footage, if I'm being 100% honest. I have read some stuff about him, though. A lot of people have him rated highly. He's 18 years old, so we'll have to see how he develops. A lot of the talk is promise, not like concrete. But I think the Wolves have a good coaching staff to develop players, so I think they'll be able to, work with him and get him to fulfill all his potential that he has. And it just adds another attacking talent to the team. And he will be able to give Raul Jimenez some rest. The last game that I wanted to talk about, just real quick, Liverpool versus Leeds. This game was exciting. 7 goals. The champions won. Shout out to Salah for scoring 3 goals, getting a hat-trick. He's definitely going to be competing for the Golden Boot again. He's a great player. He's had this is like the 4th season in a row that he's been killing it in the EPL, I believe. 3 or 4 seasons that he's just been scoring 20 plus goals. I'm not worried about Liverpool offense, even though they did need 2 penalties to beat Leeds. The thing that's kind of making me a little bit shaky, or if I was a Liverpool fan, it'll keep me up at night a little bit, is the defense. Liverpool looked a little shaky at the back last season, towards the latter half. Like, let's say since they got eliminated from Champions League going forward, defense wasn't the most solid. I know what's his name, Van Dijk had another mistake this game, and then the commentators just keep saying this is so uncharacteristic of Van Dijk to have a mistake like that. But I remember him like having 2 or 3 of those just in the second half of last season. And they keep saying the same thing. Like, this is very uncharacteristic of Van Dijk. I think versus Arsenal at the end of last year, I think he got bodied off the ball and he tried to sell the foul and it didn't happen. And they said the same thing that, Van Dijk never does this. Hey, it's starting to low-key become a trend. So I'm kind of getting scared. Like, Van Dijk, you got to, sharpen up that defense. You are one of the best, if not the best defender in the world right now. But you just can't be having these mistakes. Like, am I being too harsh? Maybe, but I know I recall the commentator saying, this is not characteristic of Van Dijk. At least 2 or 3, maybe 4 times in the last year. So I mean, at some point, it's gonna become characteristic. He has to nip it in the butt before it becomes a thing, before other people start calling him out on it. Like, hey, what's going on? Because then we don't want to have this reoccurring. Is what I'm trying to say. He's a great defender. Just those little small mental lapses, he can't have those. Especially when Liverpool's a great team. Don't get me wrong, but there's other great teams in the EPL too. Is like they ran away with it last year, but the year before, they scored almost the same amount of points, and they still lost to City by 1 point. And this might be that type of season where they might score the same, they might get the same or close to the amount of points they got last year, but there might be some other teams right there with them. So you can't give up points is what I'm trying to say. So Van Dijk, make sure you got that defense on point. I'm going to go ahead and agree with the commentators and say that it's not like you, that this is uncharacteristic, and that you're going to turn it around, and that it was just one in the blue moon, and that's it. So I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. I won't look too hard to find the other times that you've messed up, and I'll believe that, Liverpool will be just fine. They do have two big tests coming up, Chelsea and Arsenal, in the next 2 games. So we'll really get to see how good Liverpool is. If I expect them to do great things this year, so I do expect them to beat both of them. If they drop points to Chelsea, I could see that because they're in my top 3 predictions. If they drop points to Arsenal, then I'll be kind of scared because they should still be a class above Arsenal. But we'll see. EPL season is restarted. It's back. I'm excited to see how this plays out. Definitely the most entertaining league in the world. I don't know if it's the best. Most entertaining, yes. I'll concede to that. And it's back. One more time, I don't like what they're doing with Peacock. I understand it from a financial point, but I don't like it.